Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining for the first time, we appreciate your time as always. It is fundamentally correct for the continent of Africa to start asking some very important questions as its geopolitical partners fail to understand that the continent of Africa is a continent with a number of countries that have unique challenges, and more importantly, Africa's engagement with the global community over the centuries has been perceived from the raw material perspective. However, these questions are coming out clear from the continent at the moment, who want to engage with strategic partners that provide them the alternative at this particular time. Africa, in terms of its collaboration with the United States of America, we've seen how the US has cut aid, and more importantly, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which is the only trade agreement that the United States of America has with countries of the sub-Saharan African region. At the moment, it's on life support. It is important to note that the countries across the Sahel are facing tremendous difficulties at this time, and they are moving faster to adjust their particular relationship with their former colonizer. The country of France subjugated this region for centuries, and that's the reason why other experts and international community will question the move that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have taken in the past couple of years. It's as a result of their survival. They are facing tremendous challenges: a bulging population, emerging middle class, challenges in terms of healthcare, development, economic fundamentals, and this region is rich with natural resources. For that particular reason, these countries have to make sure that the nationals who have not enjoyed a national cake over the centuries in terms of their collaboration and partnership with the country of France at the moment must move forward and faster to make sure that the economy becomes what it should be. These nations are looking at the development across the continent of Africa and globally at this particular time. There is just no other way for these countries' leaders to move swiftly. What happens? Each time these countries make a particular move, they are being observed by their geopolitical partners, the same partners that have been with them for centuries and have subjugated them in terms of extraction. Mali, Burkina Faso does have incredible resources. If you look at bauxite, considering also you look at other minerals in that particular region of the continent of Africa like gold and uranium that is being exploited. These particular countries in this region are very concerned in regards to their growth and their own population. They will be termed and perceived as stubborn nations. That's fine. But however, these countries are open in working alongside other partners from around the world, including European Union fringe powers, and more importantly, work alongside the United States of America and other countries across the region, especially country of Russia and China. It is important to know that the continent of Africa is going through tremendous difficulties at the moment. Post-pandemic, Africa experienced a particular period where it has come to the realization that it needs to wake up to make certain measures which are not popular at this time. If you look at the current changes in the Sahel region with regards to the relationship with the country of the United States of America and across European Union, these nations are under tremendous sanction at the moment. Despite the incredible natural resources, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger cannot write home anything in regards to their collaboration with the country of France. This is a main problem across the region. Most African partners have come to see the continent of Africa as a nation. This is where the answer is wrong. This is where they fundamentally got it wrong in terms of Africa's partnership. The nations across the continent have unique problems and unique concerns, and they are different from every country. A number of nations across the region are experiencing tremendous growth in terms of their population, and they have to move really faster to build systems, build their economy, build relationship that is on a win-win aspect. We've seen China has engaged the continent of Africa like never before seen. Russia is engaging Africans in the western part of the continent of Africa as a result of their particular fundamentals in terms of their security and what they need. The United States of America's relationship with the continent of Africa in the past couple of years hasn't been smoother because the continent of Africa is tired of military bases. They want partners that can deliver to them in terms of their collaboration. With the current United States of America's administration cutting aid and also putting the African Growth and Opportunity Act on life support, it goes a long way to remind the continent of Africa that at this moment, it is a critical time for the continent to sit up and start readjusting and picking partners that can provide the alternative at this time. African nations only trade agreement, the African Growth and Opportunity Act that they have with the United States of America, most countries of the sub-Saharan region, at the moment is on life support. There is no assurance that the African Growth and Opportunity Act will be renewed. For that reason, we've talked about why the continent of Africa must start making sure that they have that chance to revive the African Continental Free Trade Area, which can provide them the alternative in terms of building their particular trade collaboration and working together. The United States of America is congested at the moment, busy with looking at the laws coming out from the country of the United States of America, talking most recently with the 12 countries that have been put on the travel ban, the United States of America. It is important to know that the continent of Africa must at this time wake up. There is no better time for the continent to start picking up itself and realizing that you are on your own at this particular time. The international community is saturated, and despite the challenges and the conflicts across the region, which we've seen, Africa has made huge progress. But more importantly, the continent must stop relying on its geopolitical partners. The events in the Sahel is an indication of the reason why African nations in that part of the continent have seen themselves being subjugated and abandoned and unable to make some particular strive. They look at countries like Rwanda and considering other countries like Egypt and those who are making progress, including South Africa. However, these nations are also envy of these particular neighbors who are making development. But if you do have abundance of natural resources like Burkina Faso does have, with the condescending aspect coming from the United States of America's General, Mr. Michael Langley, who spoke of Burkina Faso's natural resources. This is the problem that the continent of Africa have been talking about over the years, and the partners fail to understand. Mr. Langley spoke about Burkina Faso's resources and the United States of America seen it. He went ahead and doubled down in Kenya. This was a fundamental mistake. African natural resources should be left for the continent of Africa, and they should be only allowed to be traded on a collaborative basis and on a win-win partnership. How Burkina Faso uses natural resources is left for the Burkinabe people. At this moment, African nations must sit up and start working together because the environment has changed. It's not what it used to be. The current leadership of the United States of America is sending a clear signal and warning that we cannot assist you, we cannot provide you the guidance, we cannot provide you the collaboration that you need, that you should sit up by yourself and move forward. I think that is a better way to look at the partnership. Instead of working with someone that's fooling you, you work with someone that can provide you the clear direction on where things are going. The continent of Africa at this stage, as we see those countries across the Sahel, are picking up themselves gradually, forming an alliance of the Sahelian state to look how they can move forward with their own survival. Make no mistake, the three countries are facing existential threat considering their security. That is the reason why they have to go closer to partners who basically understand their difficulties. Most geopolitical partners of the continent of Africa, especially those on the Sahel, don't understand the basics and the fundamental difficulties that these countries are experiencing at the moment. If you see these countries serving out from the colonial partnership that they've had with the regional organization called Ecowas, that has failed to innovate, that has failed to rejuvenate itself to face modern difficulties. That's the reason why these countries cannot rely on the regional body to move forward. The coup in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso did not just come overnight. This has been in the pipeline for many, many years as a result of poor infrastructural development, lack of collaboration, poor healthcare system, no jobs, high unemployment rate, but abundant natural resources on the ground. This is difficult for any country to allow to happen. No country around the world will accept that its leaders travel to meet geopolitical partners and they are failing to provide the basic fundamental needs that the people are looking for. If you can criticize those particular regions, you are free to do so, because I think you don't understand what is actually going on. Africa will be growing so fast, looking at 2030 based on statistics and figures. The continent cannot sit in one place without moving. You look at students coming out from university on a daily basis, and a lot of countries internationally like Europe and the United States of America are shutting down their doors in terms of immigration, and you expect that the continent of Africa should not go back to its natural resources. Africa, this is the moment. There is no other time that this opportunity will come. With the United States of America at the moment taking a back seat, and Europe at the moment is confused in terms of engaging a Saudi neighbor, the continent of Africa, and the Russians at the moment are bogged down with the Russian-Ukrainian war. However, they are looking at Africa to be one of those particular nations that they can work alongside on several areas. China has made it clear that they are open to work with the continent of Africa, irrespective of what they've been termed as debt trap. China has delivered over and over in terms of economic development, roads, bridges, infrastructure, you name the rest. These are amazing times across the region. That's the reason why the continent of Africa's challenges is unique and different amongst nations. So if international partners like the United States of America, European partners, start zooming to the continent of Africa as a single nation, there is no one-size-fits-all in the continent of Africa. We are at a critical time. The continent must move faster to make sure that it can solve the amazing problems that lie ahead. At this moment, Africa must learn that when it was come to the wars, you will be on your own. The countries across the Sahel, what will happen in the Sahel will define the global relationship that the continent of Africa has had with its imperialist partners over the years. But more importantly, the situation in the Sahel is not unique in the Sahel. These are problems that have been brewing across the continent of Africa. African nationals and citizens have woken up and they are asking questions, and more importantly, they are paying attention on global events. At this particular time, every country in the continent of Africa to choose its partners carefully and work alongside those can provide the win-win alternative. It's more important for the continent of Africa to start readjusting its economy and working alongside internally. I will say it again. The African Continental Free Trade Area is the only sacred tool that the continent have at this stage, because the global markets are proving to be saturated at the moment, as we've seen Egypt, South Africa, and a number of countries in the continent of Africa have been lambasted and, more importantly, put under pressure. It is vitally important for the continent of Africa to realize that the geopolitical partners that they have over the centuries rely upon cannot deliver them the solution that they need. So it's left for them to start picking up themselves. I want to thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you think regards to the current difficulties that the continent of Africa is facing in terms of its geostrategic relationship, and why the problems across the region is not unique on a single country. Why every country has its own problem, and the approach should be seen from a single nation's own perspective. For now, we will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. If you are new here, I encourage you to smash the like button. Check some other informative video on our YouTube channel. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.